Hey guys, spooky times call for spooky fragrances. So let's do a top video or my picks for the month of October. Unlike my home fragrance video where I did recommendations for the month of October, these are not recommendations. None of these are really unisex or feminine leaning. All masculine fragrances here. Now, if that's your thing, if you like that style of fragrance, go for it. These are recommendations for you then. But if you don't, which I imagine a lot of people who watch my videos will not care for more masculine fragrances, then yeah, this is more just kind of a fun October video. Personal fragrances for the spooky season. October, especially the week leading up to Halloween, very specific fragrances for that week that remind me of the season, Halloween, and just dark fragrances. Things you want to wear when you go to a Halloween party, a haunted house, maybe something you'll pull out when you're chilling at home and just watching a really scary movie. That kind of stuff, things that just kind of put you in the mood for the spooky season. We picked a perfect day to film this video because it is overcast outside. We've got a lot of rain going on right now. Actually picked a perfect fragrance for my scent of the day that is actually in this video as one of these top 5. Of course, I'm going to do 6 in this video. One of my top 5 fragrances for the month of October. It's this one right here. It is Tom Ford Noir Anthracite. And that is my scent of the day, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in this video. Now, one thing I want to make mention, this is just not a top video. This is not a top fall video, top perfumes for fall, or even top fragrances for the month of October. This is just very specific to this time of year leading up to Halloween. I definitely want to pull out some of my darker stuff. And I've done that for a long time now. I've done that dating back almost 20 years now. And for the longest time, Bulgari Black from Bulgari was my go-to fragrance during this season. And now I've kind of just mixed it up a little bit. I don't really have one go-to fragrance. And for the sake of this video, I wanted to include multiple fragrances. But let's get started in on this video. The first one I'm going to talk about is, of course, my scent of the day. It's from Tom Ford. It is Noir Anthracite. I think this one just recently got discontinued, although you can find it pretty easily now. It's not necessarily cheap, but it's not really expensive for a Tom Ford fragrance. So Noir Anthracite is a very woody, dark, leathery, spicy fragrance. It's all about the woods in this one. A lot of people do compare this to the smell of wet concrete. I actually included this in my rainy days video that I did a while back. I think it was in the summertime. A good rainy day fragrance does smell like wet cement. And with notes of ebony wood, leather, a lot of spices in this, cedar, even some patchouli. The spiciness, the spices in this come from a black pepper, and then there's a birch wood too with that ebony wood and the cedar. Oh man, that's different. And I've owned this fragrance for a long time. Every time I wear it, it still surprises me in a very good way. It is not your mass appealing fragrance. It is very much an acquired taste. Matter of fact, I'm gonna spray this on in the video because it is my scent of the day. Oh, a lot of those heavy leathery spices right in the opening there. Great one for this time of year. Great one for the day that I have it as my scent of the day. That is Tom Ford Noir Anthracite. Okay, the next one, which I love as a fall fragrance, but I actually probably get more wear out of it during the winter months. It is this one right here, Encore Noir All Extreme. I don't know if you can really see, but that juice color, that is a really rich, dark, almost like a rum colored juice. Encore Noir All Extreme, very woody, balsamic, smoky even, and of course very earthy. It does very much have that DNA from the original Encore Noir. Really focuses on the vetiver. It is a very vetiver heavy fragrance. Notes of vetiver, benzoin, cypress, incense, a lot of elemi resin in this one. I think elemi resin is even a top note listed in this fragrance. That very distinctive, earthy, dark vetiver, smoky here, balsamic. A lot of resins in this one. I don't wear this one enough, don't wear it near enough. Encre Noir All Extreme. Love the color of that juice. Okay, this one, I only really wear this one, which is a shame, on very specific times of the year, which is essentially Halloween and the week leading up to Halloween. It has become my go-to Halloween fragrance. It is this one, All Masculine from Lolita LEMPICKA. This is the Eau de Parfum Intense version. Now, I know there is a huge fan following from the OG fragrance from Lolita LEMPICKA, the All Masculine, the original. Now, this is a very heavy star anise fragrance, black licorice, very spicy, ambery, very incensey, a smokiness to that black licorice. You've got black licorice, patchouli, amber, and myrrh. Now, myrrh is really providing that smokiness to go along with that black licorice. There's even some iris in this, which I really don't feel like is a dominant note. It's more of a supporting note. A lot of woods in this too, some vetiver, some oud. The oud is very tamed down to me. It's not a real heavy oudy fragrance. And black licorice is just one of those notes that is very specific to the wearer. You have to really like that style, that spicy black licorice star anise style. But I love it. It's my go-to for the Halloween season. For Halloween, even the night before Halloween. This is what I pull out before I go trick-or-treating with my kids, or even maybe go to a Halloween party, something like that, a haunted house. All Masculine from Lolita LEMPICKA. This is the Eau de Parfum Intense version. This one is the one I would recommend that maybe gets the closest to leaning towards unisex. I don't really feel like it is. I still feel like it is decidedly masculine, but it's from Guerlain. It is L'Homme Ideal Intense. And nowadays when you find this bottle, it'll be a see-through bottle. You'll be able to see through it. It won't look like this. It won't have that matte black finish on it. Guerlain is known for changing up their bottles quite often. And when you buy a Guerlain fragrance, it's not unusual at all to end up seeing that fragrance in a different bottle at some point, not even long after you've purchased it. So that is pretty standard for Guerlain. Now, this is all about that original DNA from L'Homme Ideal. It has that very vanilla-y, almondy, almost cherry aspect to it. This one is spiced up quite a bit and added a lot of incense and smoky incense, very smoky. There is the note of chili pepper in this, in the top, which to me is very noticeable. It's a very smoky chili pepper to go along with that kind of cherry, almond, vanilla, tonka bean base of the original, but very smoky, almost has a hot feel to it. Very warm. I feel like this one turns more smoky and woodsy with that kind of gourmand, almondy, vanilla base at the end of it. So it doesn't stay on that full-on spicy path through the entirety of the fragrance. But when you first spray it on, if this is something that sounds interesting to you, you are going to immediately notice that really spicy chili pepper. But the almond, the cherry almond feel, that kind of tonka cherry almond feel of the original, it is toned down in this one right here. It's more about the smokiness. It's more about the darkness. That is L'Homme Ideal Intense. The next one, we're gonna go with a really nice cheapie. It is Midnight Oud. And this one is from Ard Al Zafaran. I hope I'm not butchering that name. There's a really good chance Ard Al Zafaran. Now, this one right here is supposed to be a clone of AMOUAGE Interlude Man, which is a very, very divisive fragrance. One of the most divisive, one of the most polarizing fragrances in the fragrance community. That one and this one right here is all about the amber, the oud, the smokiness, patchouli. With lead notes of oud, amber, incense, and patchouli, it is strange. It is not something that's gonna appeal to the masses, not at all. If you wanna go for something like AMOUAGE Interlude Man, if that sounds interesting to you, on discounters, that's gonna run you for about $150 plus. This right here, the 50 ml bottle of Midnight Oud, cost less than $15. Just a very unusual dark fragrance. Reminds me a lot, now this is crazy and it's gonna sound really strange, of Yuletide Glow from Homeworks, the Christmas candle. Notes of labdanum, olibanum, and apopanax here. So very resinous, dark smokiness. Not for everyone, not by any means. Wear this one to a graveyard. You know, maybe on Halloween night. I know kids like to do that. I'm not saying I promote that. I don't recommend that. I'm not suggesting I've ever done that. I hear people talk about that. And that is Midnight Oud. Now, if you have heard about AMOUAGE Interlude Man and you've been interested in trying it out, start with that one. You know, save yourself some money, see if you like it, see if that fits your style, your personality. Don't go and spend those big bucks. Buy that one. You're not out a lot of money. It is a very polarizing fragrance. And the last one, which is one of my absolute favorites for the fall. It just happens to be thrown in this list, my October list, my spooky season list. It is this one right here. It is Bracken Man from AMOUAGE. And the reason I love this one so much for the month of October, it is all about the cloves and the cinnamon. I've never smelled a fragrance that has this much cloves and cinnamon. Now, this is a very masculine, woodsy fougere fragrance. All about the aromatics in this, the spiciness in this, the woods in this. Very fougere. With notes of cypress, cedar, and sandalwood, it is very woodsy heavy. A lot of those woods, very woodsy fougere, very spicy fougere, but still very classically a fougere fragrance. It has that clean lavender in it too. But the clove is so dominant in this. If you've ever wanted a fragrance that has a dominant note of clove, yeah, Bracken Man from AMOUAGE. So one of the top fragrances for me for fall, not just for October on this one. You know, if I did a top 10, this would be right up there, 1 or 2 even. That is Bracken Man from AMOUAGE. So there you guys have it. That's my fun little list of go-to fragrances for the month of October, but more specifically, the last week of October leading up to spooky season. You know, some people I know have started spooky season back in the beginning of October. Hey, if you did, this would be a great list for you if you like the more masculine leaning style fragrances. So let me know what your go-to fragrances are for the month of October. I'm curious if you guys have anything like that you kind of like to just break down as very month specific, or something that reminds you of a holiday, especially something like Halloween. If you maybe have 1 or 2 fragrances that you like to wear during this time of year, I'm gonna try to get this video up as soon as I can, hopefully aiming for that last week of October, but I appreciate you guys watching. I'll talk to you soon.